Hey, my name's Austin Ferguson, and this is my vlog for Library 100 for Clemson University. And my new student dialogue was on the intersection between spirituality and religion. And I feel our group did achieve dialogue, except we spent maybe 3/4 of the whole 2 hours first discussing what dialogue is. And that we did that by kind of uh, providing definitions with what we thought a discussion was, a dialogue, and a debate, and then going through making sure we all knew the difference of that before we actually got to the topic of our dialogue, which was kind of time consuming. But once we actually did get to the subject of our dialogue, it was very quick, but we did cover it pretty well, I thought. And in our group, there were several people who I guess were considered the active voices for our group, and those people were mainly those who had kind of differing views on their beliefs of, or different views on religion and spirituality. Mainly there were several atheist kids who kind of spoke out and told what they believed and their thoughts on religion and spirituality, and there's also a girl who was Hindu who shared her beliefs. So it was very interesting to see their views on it, because it was very different than what most kids in the room believed. And I feel like the other kids in the room that didn't talk that much, that they just kind of believed in Christianity, just kind of reserved, normal teachings kids in the South would get. So it was kind of interesting to see these kids who spoke out, how they believed different things and why they believed it. And I was probably one of the more reserved kids in the group, just because I grew up, just going to church, because that's what I was just raised to do. So I didn't really have anything to say. I was more there to see what other people thought, and kind of hoping that the discussion would go and explain pretty deeply what the intersection of religion and spirituality was and their differences, but we didn't really cover it that much. And I think this dialogue is a good part of Library 100, because it allows students to kind of learn to cooperate and discuss different topics with their peers, especially now at this higher level of education. Kids need to be able to interact better, especially because kids have such different views on topics. So this was a good way to kind of introduce us to talking about topics and our views on it, and how they can differ, and how or why they differ, and kind of show how one kid's opinion isn't better or worse than another kid's. Everyone's got their own opinion, and it has its own equal weight. So I saw it as a very useful tool, because it's something to show how kids need to be able to communicate with each other and kind of express their ideas openly to one another. And just the dialogue itself was pretty interesting, especially, for example, the atheist kids. They would, which I was not expecting for them to just come out and openly say, hey, I'm atheist, but they did. And it was kind of interesting to see their beliefs on religion and spirituality, and, well, I guess they didn't really have any, but kind of most of them had been raised Christian or raised believing in God and stuff, but just kind of something in their life had made them question it or question God, and they just decided, no, don't believe in that, or something bad had just happened that just kind of made them angry, so they just turned from it. There were even a couple kids, I think one was like Taoist or something strange, that he decided to randomly convert to, just because he was tired of following what his parents told him to follow. And then another interesting part from the dialogue was the Hindu girl, who was actually had a Christian father and Hindu mother, so she was raised with two different kind of opposing sides on what to believe, kind of how she went about deciding what she believed in. But overall, I thought the dialogue was pretty interesting, seeing more of just seeing what other kids believed in and why they believe in it, because the dialogue itself really didn't answer the question of what is the intersection of spirituality and religion. At least in my dialogue, that is. In other ones, it might have been better, but it was still a cool experience to be a part of and see what other kids believe. That's about it.